Lieutenant General Adesanya, distinguished guests, thank you for the opportunity this morning to discuss with you the Center of Excellence Defense Management. Back in 2002, as the 1st Marine Expeditionary Force was getting ready to deploy to Iraq, I was tasked with the responsibility to develop a science and technology division within the One Round. The primary responsibility there was to be able to use warfighter requirements and find emerging technologies. What that caused me to do was establish collaborations with many government agencies, universities, as well as coalition partners to find technologies that may be adequate for the war against Iraq. That will be my basis for this presentation, the lessons learned through that experience, as well as my experience as one of the project leaders for the U.S. Marine Corps Forces Pacific Experimentation Center. Next slide, please. This is the agenda I'll be covering. It'll just give you a quick synopsis of my experiences and some lessons learned, and followed by some success stories that we've had with regard to centers of excellence, or as occasionally we'll call it, as centers of expertise. Next slide, please. The theme for my presentation would be the expanding awareness through collaboration. What we found throughout our experiences in developing science and technology division within OneMed was the fact that we couldn't do everything ourselves. We didn't have the personnel required to be able to establish an organization that encompasses all the new and different types of emerging technologies. Therefore, we needed to be able to reach out, and how we reached out was through networking and collaboration. As we established this organization, we needed some kind of vision. A vision as to how we're going to take this cell and utilize the personnel that we did have. We had a strategy, and the focus on our strategy was, again, tying subject matter expertise to warfighter requirements. One of the things we're currently doing with the MEC is we're leading the Asian Pacific Information Exchange. This has direct relevance to Thailand, as we're looking to develop a fellowship program at the University of Hawaii to provide an opportunity for a Thai civilian or a Thai military officer to earn a graduate degree from the University of Hawaii. This is still in the early stages of development, but we're confident that we should be able to provide this type of opportunity in the near future. And again, that is under a new initiative that we're currently working called APEX, or Asian Pacific Information Exchange. Next slide, please. For a center of excellence, particularly in the Defense Department, this is an example, not necessarily an all-encompassing organization template that could be used. Next slide, please. Directors, the gentleman who established, like as with any organization, vision and strategy. Jim Collins, one of the authors of Good to Great, makes a point of stating that getting the right people in the right positions is critical to any organization. And even more so in a center of excellence where you have a minimal amount of people, yet you have an abundance of technology, an abundance of requirements. To match the two, you have to have people in the right positions. In this organization, we talk about a science and technology advisor. For defense industries, or for the Department of Defense, this is critical. Universities have a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of expertise. But the science advisor that we're talking about here is somebody who has the capability to understand warfighting requirements, understand how technology could be employed in military-type operations. Very few PhDs in a straight academic role understand how we would be able to use these, particularly if you're in a jungle environment. Very few of them understand the stresses of riding around in a convoy and being exposed to IEDs. So to find an individual like that would be a gem, and to hold on to them is critical. And in order to develop a science and technology center of excellence, you need to have somebody who has the correct balance of technology as well as academic experience and operational experience. Policy advisor, particularly in the U.S., this is critical to understand our acquisitions, how our acquisitions work with policy, and how those two help to bring a capability to the warfighter. If you don't understand that, you can spend days, possibly years, working on a requirement and never seeing a capability reach the warfighter. And And the focus for us at the MEC is to get a capability that is relevant to the warfighter as quickly as possible. Collaboration advisor, in this particular role, is something a little different. This is more from my business background, and this is a person who does business development. We're really talking about a person who can establish relationships. In the Department of Defense, particularly in the U.S. Marine Corps, we don't really reach out all that well with other institutions. And this is the person who develops the long-term strategies, the long-term relationships with non-traditional partners. The reason we would look at something like that is because innovation, new ideas are not restricted to simple government laboratories or universities or even other services. So this individual would be somebody who could stay on top of the technology, but also build a relationship with other partners in order to bring that technology into the Center of Excellence. Critical for us at the MEC is an assessment advisor. We work off the requirements of our warfighters. And by doing that, we need to establish metrics to determine whether technologies that are brought to us meet our warfighter requirement, both technically and operationally. So when we take on a project, we have to establish assessment criteria and metrics for that technology to be able to meet. Our focus here is not to do a pass-fail on the technology. Our focus is simply to identify how this technology may work better for our warfighters. We don't put technologies against each other. Instead, we put them and we experiment with them and look for the goods within each technology and see if it would fit with what we're doing with regard to our requirements. Next slide, please. When you establish a Center of Excellence, one of the things that people run into is they believe you are a one-stop shop, be-all, end-all organization. To a certain extent, that is true, but you need to also manage the expectations. And I use the example, everybody is aware of the IED problems we had in Iraq and Afghanistan. We have a plethora of scientists, military personnel working on this project, and yet we're still not able to find one solution to the technology. So to think that one center of excellence will be able to give you the answer to every requirement, it is a little disingenuous. So we try to make sure that we manage our expectations when we take on a project and let the warfighter as well as the technologists know that we're here to evaluate our warfighter requirements and the technology and see how the two should match, but not necessarily downplay any technology. Collaboration. Critical to a Center of Excellence is capability to collaborate. And that enables you to be able to reach out to other organizations, grab their expertise. Maybe you might not have a particular expertise. When we developed an organization on warfare, we tapped our science advisor who was able to reach to other government agencies. And because he was able to do that, we were involved with organizations we had never known about, Army organizations, battle labs, things of that nature. We were able to do that because of the collaboration effort that we were working and not necessarily simply manning our staffs with more personnel. But when you do have to deal with personnel, critical again is the philosophy of John Collins of putting the right people in the right places. If you don't do that, you will spend more time managing personnel than addressing the problems at hand for the warfighters. Next slide, please. An example of a success story is the Marfor Pack Experimentation Center.